30, 35 down the sidelines to the 40, makes a move to the 45, the 50, he's to the 40, he could go, he's at the 25, the 20, they dive at him, they miss him, he's in the end zone, touchdown!
Throws off his back foot, wide open man in the end zone, leaping grab, touchdown!
Launches the throw down toward the goal line, going up, ball tipped in the air, caught, touchdown!
Reverses his field, got a block from Pittman, going deep, got a man in the end zone, touchdown!
It's a man's game tonight now, you know that. Everybody watching tonight.
And now it's the Undefined Blitz with Chad and JC.
And welcome everybody once again to the Undefined Blitz right here on undefinedradio.com. Appreciate you guys and gals tuning in. Hey, as we get to do another Monday, as we're headed another week closer, just another week closer. Seems like we're inching closer and closer to true preseason.
And slowly but
getting
surely.
Ready for it, for the pass to really get back on.
Yeah, I mean, we're less than 2 months away from the start of preseason.
Yes.
Which means we're less than 3 months away from the start of the regular season.
That's right.
For the NFL, and we're already, I guess we're about 84 days away from week 1 of the college football season, which means that we are basically 77 days away from week 0 of the college football season.
There you go. It's getting there, folks.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
You know, things to keep your eye on.
Life's hard without football.
Yeah, so like Chad said, this is the Undefined Blitz, brought to you by Tobytown Media.
That's right.
Tobytown Media, elevate your listings.
Brand new sponsor.
Brand new sponsor.
First sponsor for Undefined Blitz. We really appreciate them coming on board and supporting Undefined Blitz. And if you want to be a sponsor of Undefined Blitz or any of our shows on Undefined Radio that we have, we are getting so much more traction on a lot of these shows. It is unbelievable.
Growth, baby.
What we're doing. Growth is great. The growth is great that's happening right now with Undefined. And I'm excited about it. COVID really hurt us. There's no question. We took a hit. I almost folded a few times, but I'm a believer you gotta stick through the tough times. So we appreciate Tobytown Media for jumping on board and believing in what we're doing out there. Makes all the difference in the world. So welcome them aboard. Hey, look, we'll read you the ads in a little bit because that's what we want to do. Is we personalize our ads.
And Tobytown Media actually does have a great offer for you that you can only get through this program.
That's right. So if you are a realtor, you know a realtor in that business and stuff, this is a really exceptional deal.
And so we'll have more on that later in the show.
That's right. So just keep it listening.
But we got to get into some football news to get things started here. So I thought one of the cool things that I woke up to this morning was the news that the Houston Texans are planning to induct J.J. Watt, the freshly retired J.J. Watt, into their Ring of Honor on October 1st. So October 1st will be week 4 of the NFL season. The Houston Texans will be hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then during halftime, that's when they'll induct J.J. Watt into the Ring of Honor there. So, of course, Watt retired after the 2022 season, playing his last year with the Arizona Cardinals, finishing with a career high of 114 and a half sacks over his 12 seasons. But he was the Texans' most decorated player, without question, in the franchise's, albeit very brief, 21-year history. Yeah. So the Texans drafted him number 11 overall out of Wisconsin back in 2011. He played 10 seasons for the Texans, played 2 seasons for the Cardinals. Watt will be the third member inducted into the Texans Ring of Honor, joining Robert C. McNair, the owner and founder of the Houston Texans, and, of course, one of the best wide receivers I've seen in my lifetime, Andre Johnson.
Yeah.
So J.J. Watt's only the second player inducted into the Texans Ring of Honor. Exactly.
If you're like, well, Houston's had better players, remember, they're the Titans now. So for all you people who are thinking, well, Houston's had a team, the Oilers became the Titans. So the Oilers ceased to exist.
Yeah, all the Oilers' history is tied to the
Titans. So this is not the same.
So, Steve McNair, Eddie George, like all those guys, Earl Campbell, those are all technically Titans records and statistics.
Exactly. So it's not the same. So when people hear that, don't say, well, those were some greats. Yes, there were in Houston. Just wrong Houston.
Absolutely. And before I get off of this J.J. Watt kick, things to keep in mind about J.J. Watt. He won the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award in 2017 by raising $41.6 million for the Hurricane Harvey Relief Fund. which was distributed to 8 different nonprofits to aid the Houston community amid the damage created by Hurricane Harvey. I believe, I may be wrong, but I think J.J. Watt was a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year as well while he was with Houston.
I believe.
So, yeah, tip of the cap to J.J. Watt on a stellar career. Absolutely one of the most dominant players we've seen since the turn of the century.
Oh, yeah, no question.
J.J. Swat, because he was notorious for batting balls down the line of scrimmage, the pick sixes that he had, the goal line situations where he'd line up as a tight end and caught several touchdown passes earlier in his career. So hats off to him, and good on the Texans, like not dragging their feet about this, going ahead and putting J.J. Watt into the Ring of Honor.
Well, they needed to. So kudos to them.
Yeah. Now, speaking of a guy who may one day get into a Ring of Honor, he's already in the Hall of Fame. But there's been a very tumultuous relationship between these two entities. Calvin Johnnson is hosting a high school football camp at the Detroit Lions facility. So Calvin Johnnson, if everyone remembers, retired in his prime.
Yes.
Like, he probably physically could have gone out there, played another 5 to 6 years at a high level.
Oh, that dude was amazing. How in shape that cat was ridiculous.
Well, and the fact that he's 6'5", 225, like, yeah, you can put your hands on me, little DB. I'm just going to throw you into the sidelines, and I'm going to go up and get the football. But Calvin Johnnson has returned to Detroit to host a high school football camp welcoming all positions in partnership with the Lions. So Johnson's connection with the Lions has been trending up lately as the franchise is trying to repair its relationship with them. He was spotted on the sidelines during an OTA session in late May, in addition to returning for the last day of mandatory minicamp on Thursday. He said it feels good to be around the guys, but he doesn't have a designated role with the team.
Yeah.
Now, Johnson has gone on to credit Lions Chief Operating Officer Mike Disner for helping mend that relationship, although he says there's still work to be done. Johnson is credited as saying, "I always say Mike Disner's been a huge part of bringing this thing back together with the team. So I'm appreciative of them, appreciative of the whole organization, allowing me to have it here and collabing with me in doing that because it's a heck of an experience for these kids." So, of course, we all know why the relationship soured. After Calvin Johnnson abruptly retired in 2015, there was still a lot of money that he got up front on that contract because he was early on into a new contract.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of money the Lions gave him that he didn't live up to because he walked away.
Yeah.
Now, I would personally say that he went out there and he earned it because he was just better than everybody on the field at all times.
Well, of course.
But after he retired, the Lions forced Calvin Johnnson to pay back a little more than $1 million to the Lions upon his retirement after the 2015 season.
Yeah.
But he's, like I said earlier, he's been around the team facility more than usual this offseason. He's joined Lions great Barry Sanders in welcoming Detroit rookies Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell once they arrived in Michigan with their families. And part of this new deal is we've seen Jameson Williams, the Lions' first-round pick from last year. You know, he missed a good portion of the season last year because he was recovering from the ACL tear that he got in the national championship game. And then this offseason, Jameson Williams got hit with a 6-game suspension for betting on non-NFL games.
That's right.
So let's make that clear. He was not betting on NFL games. He was betting on other sports, but he was doing it from the team facility. So that's what got him. That's what got him. So he's getting a 6-game suspension. So Calvin Johnnson is kind of taking on a mentorship role to Williams this year,
which is great.
Oh, absolutely. You hear the show's mascots.
That's right.
Raising Cane.
Look, you don't walk up in this studio unannounced.
We all know you're coming.
We know you're coming.
So kind of, it's a weird way to transition because I don't know how to transition to it, but what have you seen from the NFC South this offseason, right? Because the whole thing's in a state of flux. The Saints have a new quarterback. The Buccaneers have a new quarterback. The Falcons, for all intents and purposes, have a new quarterback. And the Panthers have a new quarterback.
I think of all the teams, well, I better not say that either. The New Orleans Saints, I figure, will be a lot better team this year. They've needed a quarterback. We'll see if they're really getting an upgrade or not at quarterback. I don't think they're going backwards at quarterback.
No. I think if anything, that quarterback play should improve with
should.
Derek Carr.
And if it does, that team can be really good.
Now we'll have to see what the punishment for Alvin Kamara is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty huge cloud looming over that organization. At wide receiver, Michael Thomas is supposedly coming back.
Yep.
But you can't trust him. I mean, if the wind blows just a little too lightly, he'll have turf toe and he'll be out for 10 to 12 games.
Dude makes a lot of money to be not on the football field.
Absolutely. Chris Olave, though, was a bright spot for that offense last year. Great thing to see there. And maybe that defense can step it up, the defense played fine. It's just the offense couldn't really put up enough points to really keep up. But you don't know what the Buccaneers are going to be. Yeah, they still have Mike Evans. Yeah, they still have Chris Godwin. But now they got Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask at quarterback. I don't really love that. They moved on from Leonard Fournette, so I don't really love their running back situation either.
I'm excited about Atlanta.
Well, Atlanta and Carolina, I think, are the really intriguing ones because they're two teams that basically said, youth movement.
Yep.
Just straight up youth movement.
I'm excited about Atlanta for one reason.
Bijan Robinson.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm excited about it.
There's two.
I can't wait to see Bijan on Sundays.
There's two other reasons to be excited, though.
Oh, there are.
Drake London, Kyle Pitts.
Yep. Bijan,
possibly Desmond Ridder.
Yes.
Like if Desmond Ridder can take that,
he takes that step up.
If he takes that step forward going into year 2.
David Clapton's Megatron. That's right, dude. We love Megatron now.
Megatron he was a problem. He was a nightmare for people. But with Bijan Robinson, you've got a running back who can run hard.
Yes.
He can run fast.
Yes.
He can line up at wide receiver inside and out. Mm-hmm. He can pass block. He can run block if you want to kind of get clever because you still have Cordero Patterson there. Like you can do some really interesting things with that. But with all the attention that Bijan Robinson's going to demand, really should take pressure off of the unicorn Kyle Pitts and off of last year's first-round pick, Drake London.
Yeah. Atlanta could have something. It's going to depend on their quarterback.
And they're in the softest division in the NFL.
Yes, they are. So they've got opportunity.
I expect Carolina to look better than they did last year, of course. But, that's another really young team. They've gotten rid of Christian McCaffrey. They've gotten rid of DJ Moore. They've got a rookie quarterback. They got a rookie wide receiver. Now, they did bring over Miles Sanders from the Eagles. Maybe they can get their running game going a little bit. I look for improvement out of Carolina, but I don't expect them to win the division, although I think this division's so bad that it's the one division in the NFL that's truly up for grabs this year.
And it's because it's the most average division. I mean, literally, their win-loss record is almost exact, except for a game here.
Right.
That's it. So I just, like I said, I can't wait to see Bijan suit up and play on Sundays because that's going to be awesome. I hate it's with anybody else but my team, but still, I can't wait to see him play. That kid's a unique talent.
Yeah, and my thing is, I wonder what the NFL is going to look like when Bijan Robinson hits the end of his rookie deal. Like, how will things have worked out for Bijan in Atlanta? Will he be able to procure the monster massive second contract that every player in the NFL is chasing?
And I guarantee if he goes in there and his first 4 years are just dominant, he's getting that contract.
Well, see, I would think that.
But that's one of the few ways I'm talking dominant. I'm not talking, I was really good. I mean, if he's going there and he's just dominant, he'll get a big contract because it's worth taking the shot on to have someone who's a game changer. But he's going to have to be that game changer.
You see these backs who are dominant on their rookie deals that get get the second deal, and then 2 to 3 years into that second deal, they're getting cut.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
like, of course, for us as Cowboy fans, we can always turn to Ezekiel Elliott's deal, and we understand why he got cut.
Oh, yeah,
like
no doubt.
the production has tapered off.
That's right.
However, still pretty damn productive.
He was. It's not like he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And all you're asking
best
Zeke
run blocker or best pass blocker.
Yeah. And what they didn't ask Zeke, we don't want you to run outside. We want you busting hard shots up the middle. Dude, he's a hammer.
He is.
He's a load to hold. And that's the thing. I mean, Zeke was very productive,
Now,
but his contract status, just because of, again, the numbers.
Yeah, the numbers were not correlating.
No. And
that
was
the salary
the biggest
to
thing.
the production.
And let's not make – and the other thing was Tony Pollard being fast and doing those long outside runs and the runs that he got to have.
Getting the home run shot.
That's right.
But not even – because I'm not trying to single out Zeke.
But that happens all over.
Look at Dalvin Cook.
Yes.
In Minnesota. Killed it on his rookie deal. Got the next deal.
Yep.
Played, I guess, a year or two on his next
deal.
And they've already cut him.
Yep.
They just cut him last week.
That's right.
And so Dalvin Cook's looking for a new place to play. He's 27 years old.
The big D.
And he has a lot of juice in the legs.
I wish you
Look,
I wish they could.
I am going to stop you
I know,
right
but
there.
it's a fantasy.
They're paying Tony Pollard $10 million this year.
Mm-hmm.
They are not about to pay Tony Pollard and Dalvin Cook a huge contract.
Oh, not happening.
Because we've kind of seen that where they're paying a running back a lot of money and it's not getting them where they want to go.
No. And that's what I'm saying with the running back spot. I mean, it's such a peculiar thing, but you see that talent out there. Now, Dalvin Cook's going to go somewhere and get paid because there's going to be teams that are going to be able to do it.
Everyone is calling for him to go to Miami.
Oh, yeah. And that would not surprise me.
I mean, you think they got Jalen Ramsey this offseason. They already have Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. They've got Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson in that running back room as it is. Tua's gotten beefed up. He's taking the jiu-jitsu classes. He's learning how to fall and protect himself.
That's right.
Because I've never seen a human being that falls uglier than Tua Tagovailoa.
There's no question.
But yeah, man, you put Dalvin Cook in that offense. That's pretty wild.
It's a monster.
Now they don't have Mike Gesicki anymore. He's gone.
Yep.
So I don't know what they'll do from the tight end weapon kind of perspective on things. But man, adding Dalvin Cook to that squad could be absolutely insane for them.
Yeah, it could.
I mean, look,
I can see him going there.
Let's say for the sake of argument, let's say Dalvin Cook goes to Miami. Does that then make Miami the favorites in the AFC East over Buffalo, the Jets, and the Patriots? I think over the Patriots for sure.
I mean, over the Patriots and the Jets. And well, that's the thing. I mean, what dynamic? Because then you have to look at is Aaron Rodgers going to be able to elevate this team to where, again, subpar quarterback play before. Now you've got a quarterback.
It wasn't even subpar quarterback. It was abysmal quarterback play. And they still won 7 games last year.
That's what I mean. Can he now take a team like that who just needed a quarterback? You get a great quarterback on that team.
We saw Garrett Wilson, the way Garrett Wilson played as a rookie wide receiver, was Offensive Rookie of the Year last year for the Jets. You give him an Aaron Rodgers instead of a Zach Wilson.
Oh, it's different.
We could be talking first team All-Pro.
What happens if Jets crush that division?
If the Jets crush that division?
Say Jets go in there and crush that division. They win 13 games this year. Not Buffalo. Now it's the Jets winning up 13 games.
Well,
because
they'll still be the second seed behind the Chiefs.
No doubt.
But I think ultimately Aaron Rodgers will do what Aaron Rodgers does in the playoffs, and he'll get to the conference championship game, and then he'll choke.
Well, going
against Pat Mahomes and company.
That's a tough ask for anybody. I don't think Aaron Rodgers will choke. I just think it's going to be tough.
Or even if they go to Cincinnati and play the Bengals, or even if they host Cincinnati. Like, who are the playoff teams in the AFC last year? It was Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo, Chargers, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Miami, and Buffalo.
Yeah. I don't think any of those conference winners, except maybe Jacksonville, could lose to this Jets team. Like, Buffalo might drop a game in the regular season, but I'm saying if they played in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think Buffalo would beat the Jets. I think the Bengals would beat the Jets. The Chiefs would absolutely beat the Jets. But the Jets, I think, could definitely beat the Jaguars if they ended up playing there. Like if the Jets were the 5 seed and the Jags are the 4 seed, they could go into Jacksonville and beat them. I think that's a realistic expectation. Baltimore, I'm not sure on, man. It's because on one hand, if Lamar Jackson's healthy, the sky is always the limit. But you bring in an older Odell Beckham Jr., which, like, he's still OBJ. Even if he's not as great as he once was, he's still solid. He's going to take pressure off your other receivers. He's going to take pressure off of Andrews, the tight end. But now J.K. Dobbins is basically talking about how he loves Baltimore, but he's trying to get a new contract, and running backs aren't getting a contract. And J.K. Dobbins has missed 50 games in his career.
Exactly.
It's going to be real hard for him to get that deal.
He doesn't have a lot of negotiating room.
No, he has no leverage in the situation.
None.
At all.
So, and it makes that difficult when you're running up against that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So, but that's the thing with a lot of these teams.
But Baltimore is going to have to try to get through Cincinnati to get to the playoffs, and the Steelers. The Steelers are right there on the cusp of the playoffs themselves.
I think the Steelers can overtake Baltimore this season.
And you look at, the Steelers, 9-8 last year?
Yeah.
They were 9-8 with a rookie quarterback and Mitch Trubisky.
That's right.
Kenny Pickett played really well towards the end of the year. Still wasn't great, but I think he is showing you that he's improving.
They had a 4-game winning streak to finish that season.
And they also have my boy George Pickens.
That's right.
Which is tremendous. I was so mad when the Steelers got him.
And they've gone out in the offseason and tried to improve their football team. I
think they've done an exceptional job.
So it just wouldn't surprise me to see Baltimore and Cleveland as your dwellers in that division this season.
But
because the Bengals are not going to drop.
Cleveland has improved their squad too. And now, Deshaun Watson's getting all the reps with the first team.
I think that's going to be the telltale sign for them. Is like, all right, so now you've had a full offseason.
Like, we know that Deshaun Watson can play.
Yes.
We know that Joe Burrow is a guy.
Yes.
We know that Lamar Jackson's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kenny Pickett a guy?
And we don't know that yet.
I think he is.
He looked great at the end of the season. He's got a hell of an arm. He's got natural instincts.
Like, the AFC is just loaded with quarterbacks, man. Because you look at the West even. You got Mahomes. You got Herbert.
Yep.
You got Garoppolo in Vegas, so I don't think anyone's really worried about that.
But you got Russ still down there in Denver.
Yeah, and they got Sean Payton running the show now.
So what happens in Denver this season? That's another thing you got to look at.
And because they're
is it simply a culture thing in Denver to where we're saying, hey, we're about to add some new excitement, a new scheme, and I'm going to show y'all with the talent you got here. There's no reason
I think
this team can't win.
I've talked about what I think Denver's problem is at length on the show, and to me, that's that. Yes, they have talent, top to bottom, front to back. Mm-hmm. They are loaded. They are a very talented team. The problem is they keep bringing in leaders, and by leaders I mean a head coach that have never had to be that leader before. But now they've got a guy who's not only has a lot of experience leading a professional football team, but has reached the promised land before.
Yep.
And won an NFL championship in Sean Payton in his time down there in Louisiana with the New Orleans Saints.
Exactly.
So that AFC it's a murderer's row of quarterbacks.
It is. And then you look at the NFC. And those are all the victim quarterbacks. Right? These are the ones who got mugged. Right? These are the ones who go out there and get bullied.
You got Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott in the same division.
Yep.
Daniel Jones looked improved last year.
He did.
I don't think he's great.
Who's the Washington Commanders?
Sam Howell. He played the.
And it's sad that I don't know that.
He was the one that beat the Cowboys in the last week of the regular season.
That's right. I didn't even watch that game, so.
No, it was a nightmare. Yeah. You can tell the Cowboys didn't want to play.
No.
In the North, you got Kirk Cousins. You've got Jared Goff, Justin Fields, and Jordan Love, which Justin Fields is a baller. Jared Goff is playing the best football of his career now in Detroit with that offense. It's the perfect scheme for the way he plays.
Yeah, no doubt.
And the Minnesota Vikings offense was great last season, but their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed.
Nope.
So that was
cost them some football games.
absolutely. And we've talked about the South. I mean,
that's trash.
You got Baker Mayfield, you've got Bryce Young, you've got Derek Carr, and you've got Desmond Ridder or Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, so we could see what happens. We'll see what happens in Atlanta. And San Francisco is another question mark, really.
Right. Who will it be?
People are saying, well, you know, it's a question mark.
Is it Trey Lance? Is it Sam Darnold? Is it Brock Purdy?
Who you got over there?
You got Matt Stafford still with the Rams. You got Geno Smith with the Seahawks, and you got Kyler Murray coming back off the knee injury with the Cardinals.
Yeah, but when you say those names compared to the AFC, it's just not the same.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Just not the same.
So yeah, whatever teams come out of the NFC will have an easier run to the Super Bowl than whatever team emerges out of the AFC.
Those QBs in the AFC are going to be fighting for it.
Absolutely.
That's going to be interesting to see.
Now, in the AFC South, I mean, I think we kind of glossed over it. Of course, you got Trevor Lawrence with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You've got Ryan Tannehill / Will Levis / Malik Willis, which I think they're writing off Malik Willis. So it's really, will it be Tannehill or Levis there for the Titans?
Yeah.
And I think Tannehill has a healthy leg up. The Colts, it's absolutely Anthony Richardson. I don't think there's any chance Gardner Minshew pushes Anthony Richardson for that. And then the Texans, you got CJ Stroud. It's this, Davis Mills is about to push the young gun number 2 overall pick out of there.
Not gonna happen.
I think we might see something unexpected in the AFC South. I still think Jacksonville wins it because I think they got better this offseason. I expect their win total to improve. But don't be surprised if the Texans shoot up to number 2 in that division.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
But, speaking of teams that are elevating themselves, the North Mississippi real estate agents, they need to pay attention. Now, I've got some exciting news for you guys. If you're looking to take your listings to new heights and to sell properties like never before, you need to check out Tobytown Media. They're the experts when it comes to elevating your real estate game. With Tobytown Media, you'll get access to high-quality photography, captivating videos, stunning drone shots, and immersive virtual tours. They'll make your listing shine and attract more buyers. Imagine the impact that professional media can have on your sales. But wait. Oh, no. There is more. As a first-time client, you can try Tobytown Media for free. That's right, for free. Just order their pro package online with the promo code BLITZ. All capital letters BLITZ at checkout. That's right, absolutely free. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Visit their website today, www.tobytownmedia.com. Go there to register and book an appointment. And remember, it's all about standing out in the competitive real estate market. So take that next step and let Tobytown Media supercharge your success.
There you go. Welcome aboard once again, Tobytown Media.
Thank you guys for sponsoring the show.
Yes, we appreciate it.
Now, it's not all NFL news, but I do want to talk about one little other bit or a couple things in the NFL before I make the transition over to college. So we know Saquon Barkley got the franchise tag this offseason.
Yes.
They gave Daniel Jones the big money. Saquon got the franchise tag. And he and the Giants have until July 17th to come to a long-term contract extension, or the running back will play this year on the $10.1 million franchise tag, unless he decides to sit out the entire season. Barkley told reporters Sunday following his youth football camp in Jersey City that sitting out this season is an option that he would consider if it comes to that. He said, I think that's a conversation. Like you said, that's a card I could play. That comes up in conversation if something doesn't get done by July 17th. We got a bit more time in between there. When that date comes up, then I'll have to sit down with my team, sit down with my family, and make decisions. See what we're going to do. What's the game plan? What's the next move? If Saquon Barkley sits out, after you factor in, and he played really well last year.
Oh, yes.
There's no way around that.
He's a game changer.
if he sits out the way that Le'Veon Bell did,
Mhm.
do you see his career possibly getting derailed in the same capacity that Le'Veon Bell's did?
It really depends, because I think that the difference is in those two human beings is the agreeableness. Le'Veon Bell has come out and said how bad he mishandled that whole thing.
Absolutely.
And I think if they come down to it, they're going to try to work to make this right. I think on both sides of it. Could he sit out for a while? Sure. But I don't think it's going to be one of those things where it's my way or the highway. It's going to be this way, and I don't give a crap what anybody else is saying. There's going to have to be some give and take and some agreeableness. And I think if his team is smart, they'll sit down and go, that's not the situation we want to be in.
Right.
Because nobody wins this. Nobody wins, especially us. They can go and get another running back. It may not be on your level, but we can't just go out and get more money and say, hey, because then people are going to say, well, if I don't get my way, I'm just going to jet on you again and ghost you. Then who's going to hire me? How hireable am I then? Then I'm certainly not going to reach my full monetary potential.
Well, especially at the running back position.
Exactly,
You know,
the running back position.
When the position you play in the sport is being so devalued
Mhm.
because of how short the career span of an NFL running back is, like, teams just can't justify paying, let's say $15 to $17 million a year for that position.
Yeah.
It's almost as if running back contracts should work in reverse order, where they should get all their money up front on their rookie deal.
It's so hard because that's a hell of a position to play.
Yeah,
You're getting just destroyed.
It is my favorite position to watch.
It is
on the football field.
And you're asking, that's one of the toughest players on the whole field.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's trying to crush you.
At all times.
At all times. You get the ball a lot. I mean, you're in that target, right? You're right there in the bullseye.
You're either getting handed the ball, you're catching the ball,
you're blocking,
you're chip blocking, whatever it may be. Like,
and so when they talk about the devaluation of the running back position, it really is criminal.
And it's only
in how that works
because of the health standpoint.
It is.
That's it.
And it's because you're asking so much out of those guys. And you understand why the quarterback is paid what he's paid. Because 100%. Of the complexity of the position. And it is.
And he's got his hands on the ball every single play.
He does. But for the running back, they're the ones who take the brunt of the hits in a football game. And I'm talking about full-on hits. We're not talking about just beating each other to death like linemen do in the middle. Just getting teed off on.
And we see the way that players are managed in the modern game, too. Like, you remember, God, I can't even tell you how long ago this was. It had to be 22, 23 years ago at the earliest. It's probably longer ago than that. It might have been in the 90s. Emmitt Smith playing against the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
He comes into the game kind of banged up. Early in the first quarter, gets his shoulder knocked out of place.
That's right. Remember, this is a play-in game for the playoffs.
Trying to make the playoffs. Gets his shoulder dislocated. Plays the rest of the game. Like, they put his shoulder in place, but it kept popping back out and popping back in on its own.
Yep.
It was that bad. And he finished that game with 150 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And was not shying away from contact.
No.
Was still hitting dudes. Now, he was trying to not hit that shoulder into guys.
But still, you can't get tackled and your shoulder not get impacted.
He was playing hard. Nowadays, as soon as that shoulder comes out, you're done. They're shutting you down. Whether you want to play or not.
No. It don't matter what you want at that point. You're just out.
But once that happens, then the eye test is, he got hurt. He's not in the game. Okay, well, is he fragile?
Yeah.
Is he Charmin soft?
Now, what is it?
Is his career just now derailed because there's going to be a stigma about him?
Mm-hmm.
Whether those things are true or not. Maybe this is the only time in his life he's ever been injured.
But they love doing that.
If you get injured at the wrong time, and the wrong time is at the end of your deal, that's always the wrong time.
Yep.
If you get hurt,
That's
then
the worst time to always get.
that's just more incentive. Oh, we can't trust that he'll be healthy.
Yeah, we don't know if he's going to be able to recover from this injury. So, I mean,
This injury that we've seen people recover from all the time.
yeah, especially with the advancement of sports medicine these days,
Like if
it's
people,
ridiculous.
like if Adrian Peterson had never bounced back, you would understand
Yeah,
because it was a severe ACL tear. Not only did he bounce back, but he almost ran for 2,000 yards that next season.
exactly.
I think a lot of this gets blown out of proportion. As much as I hate the Giants, like I understand that Saquon is good, but Saquon is also one of those guys who's missed a lot of time in his career
He has.
due to injury. So it's a weird look. And I think it kind of brings us back to that Dalvin Cook discussion where Dalvin Cook still got juice.
Oh, yes.
He's got a lot of juice. He will be a benefit to whatever
He
team signs him. But will they be able to agree on a number?
Well, and again, there goes that thing. Is like, right, because the running back, you're always going to value yourself higher than what anybody else is going to value you at.
Absolutely.
That's just how that is. And they're going to come at you with a number that you're not going to appreciate. All right, and they're going to come at you with a contract that first round you're not going to appreciate. But that's where the back and forth is going to have to come from. But they're still, with the Dalvin Cook situation, probably going to pay more than what they really want to for a third contract. Or I say a third contract, really you're trying to pick up your second big one.
It's that
right?
second contract part too.
So it's that. So because in his mind he's fresh out this other contract, like, well, I can still get some money.
Yeah,
I'm still good for that. So
I mean, you saw what I did last season.
yeah, let's just continue on with that.
And the season before, like I can do this.
Yeah, so that's going to be the thing is what team is going to say you can still do this.
I think for Dalvin Cook, it'll be that team that's a contender that's like, hey, this is the missing piece.
Yes.
This is what we need to have here. Now, did you see that the Bucs are bringing back the creamsicle unis?
Yes.
Yeah, they're bringing those back week 6 against the Lions, which will be fine. I'm here for that. And Danielle Hunter has decided to skip mandatory minicamp as the Vikings are fielding trade calls for the premier pass rusher there. So it's a little surprise that Hunter's staying away from the team, as the sides have not seen eye to eye regarding his contract. And he previously skipped the voluntary offseason workouts. So he's due $5.5 million this year after the club moved up money in previous years. And Ian Rappaport is reporting that the Vikings want to do a Band-Aid deal for 2023, but couldn't come to an agreement with Hunter, who likely wants a long-term big money payday. And without a new contract, Hunter will stay away from a Minnesota club that is honestly in transition, having parted ways with several veterans, including running back Dalvin Cook last week.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
I think that's more reason to put your money on Detroit being the front runner in that NFC North this year.
well, I'm sitting here looking at Dalvin Cook's stats for his what came into the league 2017.
Yeah.
So 354 yards rushing that season,
His rookie year.
then 615 the next season. Then he's running for over 1,000, with 1,500 being his biggest one in 2020. Ran for 1,159 2021, 1,173 last year. His receiving yards. He's had, triple-digit receiving yards every season, except for his rookie season, of course.
Right.
So the dude's a playmaker. His touchdowns and scoring in general. I mean, he's had 47 touchdowns in his career. What do you see him? Do you see somebody being able to get? Are they just hoping they can get another 1,200 yard season out of the guy?
Absolutely.
And saying, "Hey, this is all we need."
If you get 1,200 yards
I
out,
remember being 1,000-yard rusher in a season was a big deal.
yeah, but now they play more games.
Yep, and it's just like
So it kind of, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was thinking about that yesterday. I had just parked. I pulled up to my house. I parked in between my truck and my front door. I was thinking about that very thing. It's like, is 1,000 yards still the benchmark for a super successful season for a running back now that we're playing 17 regular season games?
And I just don't know that it is.
You're only playing 3 preseason games in which your starters aren't going to play, 1.5 of those.
That's right.
So there's not as much wear and tear going into the season. You get that extra opportunity to boost your numbers. So, I mean, what is that baseline super solid season for a running back? Is it now 1,200 yards or 1,100 yards?
Because considering if that's the case, your running back only has to run for 60 yards a game.
What, to hit 1,000?
To hit 1,000.
So, yeah.
Not a lot of production in a football game.
No, it's not.
It's not from that position. All right. So, I mean, to me, the opposite has to be true. The stick has to move up. We should see higher numbers from these great running backs. They should really be putting them down. And again, of course, we know that's not going to be true because it is a pass-first league.
Right. So, I mean, you can factor in their receiving yards too.
Yeah. So, and which is a benefit to them because that's part of their game.
If a running back runs for 1,100 yards, but he also has another 400 to 500 through the air, then that's a hell of a season.
It is. It is.
No way around that.
So, but that's what I mean. It's such a different thing now. It's going to be hard because you just can't. It's just not what it was. It's just pass. The rules benefit the pass. They do not benefit the run. So it's just unless you are specifically built, and there's not a lot of teams that are built that way to hammer somebody. It's just going to be a heavily pass first league, and the running back position is going to continue to be devaluated.
Yep, I think you're right. I want to switch gears over to college football briefly. Anyone who has watched our show in the past knows that I like video games.
Yep.
I specifically love the old NCAA football games.
Yep.
And we all know that there's a new college football game on the horizon from EA Sports.
Sir.
However,
not so fast.
Not so fast, my friend. As the great Lee Corso says, the College Football Players Association is urging a boycott over the EA Sports college football video game.
Of course they are.
So, for those of you who don't know, EA Sports has a pool of roughly $5 million to distribute to these college football players for their name, image, and likeness in the game.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out to roughly $500 per player.
Yeah.
Uniform payment across the board.
Oh, here you go. Bam.
So, the CFBPA is speaking out against that measly, paltry sum of $500.
Where before they never got a dime of anything.
Right. So, and all eligible FBS players can either opt in to have their likenesses incorporated, and players will be compensated for opting in rather than just a random generic player making up the teams. But this new report puts player likeness in the game in doubt, with concerns about how players will be compensated for allowing their names, images, and likenesses in the game. So the CFBPA is urging eligible players to boycott the use of their likeness in the new game, citing the amount of compensation the players would get. So it's unclear how much players will be compensated for their likeness in the game, and the EA Sports representative told ESPN that the goal was to be as inclusive and equitable as possible. If it is not possible to identify individual sales, like in the case of video games, then revenue will be divided equally among the athletes included in each licensing program, which that was a quote from One Team Partners, and One Team is the collective that is putting together all the NIL deals for this game. So players could earn $500 each, with the CFBPA criticizing for being too low. All current players should boycott this deal. It is an opt-in deal, and they should not opt into it. It is just a ridiculously low amount of money, says Justin Falcinelli, who's a former Clemson center and vice president of the College Football Players Association. You should not participate in this. It is a simple cash grab just to get you to go for the lowest amount possible, and it's One Team Partners and all these organizations that don't really represent the players' best interest. Falconelli also said that he explored how much NFL players were paid for their likeness in Madden franchise, and found out players were paid around $17,000 in recent years. Well, pump the brakes. First off, Justin,
Yeah, that's right.
pump the brakes. The NFL has 32 teams. Out of those 32 teams, they have 53-man rosters.
Yes.
There's over 130 FBS programs of rosters upwards of 90 players.
Exactly.
Like, we're talking a lot of money for a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
And you're saying this should all come from one video game company who, look, I'll admit, they have the money.
Oh, there's no question.
The money's there. Could they raise that compensation? I think so. But to start comparing the $500 per player for, several thousand players to the $17,000 for a Madden player when there's far fewer NFL players, like it's not. It's an apples to oranges kind of thing. Are they both fruit? Yes, but it's very, very different.
I was trying to find. I know there's got to be.
And look, there's some college football players, like there's a player from Mississippi State actually came out and said, "Look, I'll be in the game for $20."
That's right.
He said, "You know what? Y'all don't even have to pay me at all if you get my speed right."
Yeah, really. Guys just want to play the game.
They just want to be in the game.
That's it.
And you know who we're not hearing about this kind of stuff from?
Players.
From the top guys, right?
Yep.
Like, you don't hear Caleb Williams coming out and saying, "You know what? I'm not getting enough money for my name, image, and likeness to be, quarterback number 13 there at USC."
Exactly.
You're not seeing Drake May come out and say this stuff.
No.
This is coming through all third parties.
And this is all Players Association. And who's asking them how much money are they getting out of this to represent the money that's coming in through that, because they're getting something?
That's a fair question.
So is it really about the players, or is it about you thinking we're not making enough out of this deal on our end of it by representing these guys?
So really no one's got the players' best interest at heart then, right?
No, that's stupid for them to even suggest that. Come out and say that like you can't see straight through it. But they're trying to play the victim here, like we're in it for the guys. We're in it to help these young men out, make sure they don't get screwed over.
So
and I need a new golf cart.
And where the game comes into jeopardy yet, because I did lead with this. A lot of these schools' participation in this game is contingent upon EA Sports' ability to pay the players. If they can't pay the players, then a lot of these schools are going to opt out. But EA Sports is willing to pay the players. It's will the players accept the amount that's given.
Exactly.
So if enough players, let's say there's these entire universities who teams opt out, will that school not be in the game? Or will that school just decide to, yeah, you can still put our school in there, just use all generator players?
Exactly.
Or if these schools, if these schools opt out, and let's say half of the schools opt out because they want to pretend like they've got their players' best interest at heart. And let's say you only have 60 of 130 college football Division I teams. Like, what's the point in making the game?
That's right.
Because it's not really just full-blown college football at that point.
Well, you look, Madden is rumored as of August of last year. I think they had $4.4 billion in sales.
But a lot of that's through Ultimate Team. Microtransactions.
Yes. But the point being that they make a shit ton of money off this football franchise.
And they're going to make
they're going
to make a ton off of this one.
And that's what the CFB PA is looking at. Like,
well, why don't they take dividends on the back end?
Why not? Why not say, hey, I tell you what we'll do. Based on the sales of the game, let's just do it this way and distribute that money. We'll create a pool.
Yeah, if you pay the players the $500 on the front end, and then
on
the back end, there's a percentage number of the sales that then gets redistributed to the players.
That's right. If you make over something, that makes everybody happy. Therefore, if the game's being played a lot, you get your fair compensation. Yeah, it's going to make a bunch of money because I know we're buying it.
It's going to. I think it'll double up sales on Madden, just because you think if you got 130 D1 programs, well, that's already almost 100 more teams than what the NFL has.
Exactly.
Which means that's 100 schools worth of fans more
Yeah,
to buy the game.
that's right.
People that would never buy Madden will buy college football
Yes, they will.
because college football is such a regionally distributed sport. You know, like
Oh, yeah.
we're in Mississippi. There's no professional anything in the state of Mississippi.
Because
Well, I take that back. There's a double A, the Mississippi Braves, the Atlanta Braves double A team is down in South Mississippi. That's it. That's what we got.
And to back up JC's point, I love football. Football is one of my favorite things in the whole world, especially pro football. I'm a fan of. But however, I haven't bought a Madden game and played one in years because I'm just kind of tired of the Madden franchise.
Well, it sucks.
It's just
bad.
blah. It's blue. But I can guarantee you, when this college football game comes out, it's being pre-ordered. As soon as that happens, I'm pre-ordering that game, and I will own that football game.
Absolutely.
Because that's how excited I am. And there's going to be a lot of fans who might have said to Madden, but are excited about buying this football game.
And they're being made by two different teams.
Yes.
So the same people that are taking away all the things that you used to love about Madden, they won't have anything to do with this one.
That's right.
You're supposed to be getting Dynasty mode back.
Oh, it should be great.
Road to Glory mode is supposed to come back, where you can control your single college player
right.
and their
Which was one of the fun things about it.
Yeah. They're going to do virtual magazines and virtual newspapers.
Fun stuff.
You know, they're modernizing what things that they used to do in the old NCAA games and bringing it to the new college football series. So there's a lot to be optimistic about. I'm sure it will have an Ultimate Team mode.
Oh, yeah.
Every EA game has it. Every sports game now has an quote unquote ultimate team type mode.
It just makes sense to do it, though, honestly.
I mean,
it would be silly not to.
It's just easy.
As a business.
Yeah, it's easy money for them to get.
Sure.
The problem is when they make a shell of a game everywhere else.
That is the issue.
When the game like Madden is an ultimate team game that has a very thinly put together, franchise mode.
That's right.
Very thinly put together single player narrative. Very thinly put together. I think it's Superstar KO, but even a lot of that has elements of Ultimate Team in it.
Yeah.
So I hope that the college football video game is the football simulator that we have all been longing for almost 10 years now. Because once the college football video game originally went away, Madden got really good.
Yeah.
For about 2 years. And then they were like, hey, we started doing this Ultimate Team. It started taking off because people just don't have any other alternatives. Let's just focus specifically on Ultimate Team. Let's take some of the stuff out of franchise to make room for more Ultimate Team stuff. Let's get rid of referees off the field. They're just kind of in the way.
Yep.
And Madden's in a situation now where if they don't turn it around this year, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of jobs at EA Sports.
Is there not another pro football game coming out? Isn't there one in development, I believe I've heard?
Well, there's a 2K, but it's more of an arcade game.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's not a sim.
No, but there's going to be more options coming too, and it's going to be beholden to Madden to say, because if you're just playing a sterile game, and say 2K comes out with a game it's going to be arcade-like, but it's going to be fun. We've seen this before.
Yeah,
it would be very easy. Look at Fortnite. All right, so Fortnite has changed the video game industry. Fortnite started the battle royale, as everybody knows. Fortnite, this and all the answers. That was actually the secondary part of their game. All right, that game was actually Save the World. All right, where you go on there and you do all these things, the building and all that stuff that's in Fortnite, all the stuff that you know in Fortnite. Actually started from their Save the World RPG part of that game. All right, we're destroying zombies that have taken over the world. The battle royale was created out of that.
Right.
And the battle royale took off. They just kind of forsworn that other side of it. It's still there. You can still play it, and they still add little things to it, but it's nothing. They've never really improved it.
Right.
Because all the money is in, and they have made an unbelievable killing with all of that on the Fortnite side of it. And Madden has gotten a lot like that. As far as the difference, though, is that Fortnite keeps trying to better their gameplay and everything else on the battle royale because that is their business now. It's not to save the world side.
Well, Madden's franchise mode, which is what I always played growing up.
Mhm.
I love to play franchise mode. I like free agency. I like trading players. I like trading draft picks. I like doing all my scouting. But supposedly Madden's going 10 toes deep this year. They're bringing back the old mini games from the early 2000s.
They should.
They're bringing
That
those
was
back.
fun stuff.
Supposedly your scouting for the combine and for the NFL draft is going to improve.
That needs to.
The way the contracts work in free agency is supposed to be vastly improved. So yeah, I'm hoping that Madden really does focus on their offline modes and not entirely on Ultimate Team. Yes, they're going to make money on Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team's not going to go away.
No.
People are going to keep buying credits or buying
That's right.
coins to open more packs
Mhm.
because it's basically just legal gambling
That's right.
for underage kids.
Pretty much.
That's what it is. Like you're not guaranteed anything in those packs.
No,
you're guaranteed a chance.
It's like buying
at
the
those.
old trading cards. That's all it is. They took the trading card concept because you didn't know what was in those packages of cards.
Right.
You were hoping this is going to be the rookie card for somebody. Oh, let this be. Oh,
So EA Sports has done a hell of a job over the last decade of alienating their player base across all their games.
Remember the
by
whole
locking-
controversy with Battlefront?
Yeah, they lock everything behind a paywall.
Yeah.
And you have to pay to get not necessarily things to help you win in the
Well,
game.
it was pay to win for a lot of stuff that they
It
did.
was
They had
pay-
to go and fix.
Which in Ultimate Team's kind of that way because if you're having to buy the good cards, and you
Mhm.
can't just naturally earn the good cards, then you have to buy the good cards
So
with
you are
real
kind
money.
of paying to win.
You are paying to win.
It's just almost like
Um,
doing roulette or slots.
But that's why give me college football dynasty mode where I can just go out and I can recruit guys, I can cut guys, I can change guys' positions. I can, if my school is dominant, I can move into maybe a tougher conference
Hey, what's up, Taylor?
and try to give myself more of a challenge there. So those are the kind of things that I personally would love to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's more viable in a college football game. You're going to get more passionate fan base going after that as opposed to a Madden.
No, I agree with you. 100%, dude. 100%. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all tuning in today for this edition of Undefined Blitz. We covered a lot today.
We did.
Covered a lot. We'd like to,
Proud of
once
us.
again, thank Toby Town Media, first sponsor right here for Undefined Blitz. Appreciate that so much. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor, all you got to do is hit us up on the Facebooks, or you can email me at radio@undefinedradio.com, and we will get back to you.
And don't
and
forget,
how that works.
if you are a realtor or you know a realtor that is looking to improve their listings, you can try Toby Town Media for free. Order their pro package online at tobytownmedia.com, and then at checkout, use the promo code BLITZ, BLITZ, all capital letters. Pop that in. You can try it for free. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Once again, that's tobytownmedia.com.
All right, guys. Appreciate it. Check y'all back here next Monday.